We're going to begin our unit on inequalities. We'll start with very basic one-step equations. We're going to graph these on number lines as opposed to coordinate planes with the x and the y. Very straightforward one-step equation. I would subtract 6 from both sides. X is greater than negative 8. We won't talk about pointing to the right, pointing to the left, big number is being eaten by the alligator, etc. Okay, so x is all numbers greater than negative 8. So on my number line, I'm going to do an open circle because it will not include negative 8, but it will include all numbers greater than. Then I shade my arrow to the right because I find greater than numbers to the right. Our next problem, we have 9 plus x is greater than or equal to 4. So I would subtract 9 from both sides. X is greater than or equal to negative 5. This time x can equal negative 5. So I will put a closed circle at negative 5, and I need to shade the number line for all numbers greater than that, and I find that to the right of my point. We've been working with double negatives here. X minus negative 2, we know that that really means x plus 2 is less than 5. So I would subtract 2 from both sides. X is less than 3. Think for a moment. Based upon the only 2 examples I did, would I have an open or a closed circle? I'm going to find 3 on my number line. I'm going to leave it open because it does not equal or include 3. And I need all numbers that are less, so I will shade to the left. Pause the video and please complete through this problem on your own. Starting here, I want you to do the next 4 problems on your own. Pause the video, please. Thank you for pausing the video. There are a couple I'd like to talk about. For this one, I added 10 to both sides, and I end with 3 is less than or equal to x. So I know that I have to have a closed circle because it can equal 3. Now, when you answer things in your homework, you will always have the variable written on the left-hand side of the inequality. So I'm going to rewrite that as x is greater than or equal to 3. I flipped over, so to say. Here it's saying 3 is less than or equal to x, which is the same as this. With that being stated, I know I need to shade to the right. Again, in your homework assignment, this is how it needs to be entered. Now on this one, after I subtracted 8 from both sides, I end with 9 less than x, so I will say x is greater than 9. I have an open circle down here at 9, and I need numbers greater than that, so I will shade to the right. What patterns have you noticed? When do we use closed circles? When do we use open circles? What I have noticed, when we use less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, I've been using closed circles because it can include those numbers. I have to use an open circle when it's just less than or just greater than. It cannot include that number, but it can include numbers either greater or less than. Now we're going to move on to multiplication and division. This is a multiplication problem. So there I need to divide. Then x is greater than or equal to -5. It can include -5, so I will put a closed circle at -5. And I need all numbers greater than. Ooh, what kind of math problem is that? I see a fraction. But the variable is not part of the fraction, so this is a multiplication problem. Therefore, I would divide by -3/4. Dividing by a negative with fractions is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. I would get, cross reduce if you like to do that, -8. But because the number in the original math problem is negative that's attached to the variable, we need to flip the inequality sign, so it will become less than. So let me say that again. This is a multiplication problem because the variable is not part of the fraction. Therefore, I need to divide, which means multiply by the reciprocal. Because the number associated attached to the variable is negative, I need to flip the inequality sign, so I will have an open circle at 8, or -8, sorry, and all numbers left to that. For this one, multiplication, therefore I would divide. I get -4 is less than or equal to x. Knowing that in our future work, the variable needs to be on the left, I will practice rewriting that. I have a closed circle at -4, and all numbers greater, I would shade to the right. Please pause the video. Try the next 3 by yourself. We'll compare answers. Please pause the video. Thank you for pausing the video. Okay, let's do on this one. I multiply because this time the variable is part of the fraction, so it is a division problem. So I multiplied both sides by 3. I ended with -6 less than x, rewriting it so that the variable is on the left. X is greater than -6. Open circle, shading to the right where the numbers are greater than. Ooh, again, this is a division problem because the variable is part of the fraction. I multiply by -4. Because I have a negative associated with the variable, I needed to flip the inequality. -1/2 is right in between 0 and -1. Solid circle closed, shaded to the right. Divide by -4, because that's negative, I had to flip my inequality sign. Open circle at 5, shading to the left.